So you're a smart business committed to innovation, to service and to modern marketing, and you're asking, what's next? Wondering how you can become even more innovative. My name is Jürgen Strauss from InnovaBuzz, and this is the InnovaBuzz podcast, where we share all kinds of tips, advice and interview guests on all things innovation and leadership in modern marketing. Hi innovators, I'm Jürgen Strauss from InnovaBuzz, and this is another episode of the InnovaBuzz podcast. It's great to be back. I hope you've had an awesome week so far. I certainly have. I'm back in the office today after spending 5 days crewing for a neuro-linguistic programming Master Practitioners Workshop. For those of you that are unfamiliar with neuro-linguistic programming, I'm not going to go into detail here, but you can find out more by visiting the link underneath the show notes of this, where you can in fact participate in a free webinar run by my awesome business coach Joanne Clark, who will guide you through a wonderful goal setting exercise that not only helps you with goal setting in a rather novel and unique way, but also with actually achieving that goal. Breaking down all the barriers and making that goal so real that there's nothing that's going to stop you from achieving that. So visit the link there. As I say, you can find out more about neuro-linguistic programming as well. There's a lot to neuro-linguistic program, but essentially it's around using language and programming your mindset to make lasting change. Now, it was such a privilege to work with the people in the training and to see some of the amazing transformations taking place for people in the room there. Some quite profound and deep and lasting changes occurred while we were watching in an instant. And that will no doubt have a lasting impact on the lives of those people and also the people close to them. I know that some events have already been set in motion after just one day that will engineer a huge change for those people towards achieving their goals, the goals that are important to them. Of course, as I pointed out in another podcast episode, and I think that was the one about reflections on running a retreat, if I remember rightly, leading others in change also triggers change in me. And I wanted to share with you today one of the reflections that I had during the past couple of days that really made me think about what's going on for me. Now, those of you that have been following my podcast for a while or that are connected to me on social media know that I'm a really keen bike rider and I love to get out on my bike every day. I love the challenge of riding, I love the fitness that I get from it, and I love the enjoyment that I get from it. So I was out on my morning bike ride and I was very early because I was wanting to get the ride in before I needed to go to the workshop. And as a result, of course, I was on my own. I was way earlier than my normal ride buddies group goes out. When I'm on my own on the bike, I often reflect on things that are going on, and sometimes I just daydream, and while I pay attention to what's going on the road, there's a lot of stuff going on that comes to the surface from my unconscious mind. And so it was on this particular day. Now, during the workshop, I described a situation I had, which was kind of a goal of a big, challenging event, cycling event, that on the one hand, I was really keen to do, but on the other hand, I knew, or I believe, that I would not enjoy that. And as I said before, enjoyment is one of my core values around riding my bike. So I've avoided doing that challenge. Now, on the ride this morning, because I'd been talking about this with the workshop participants, I started thinking about how I might get fit enough to both complete that ride, that big challenge, and at the same time enjoy it. And I realised that probably my unconscious mind, in other words, my inner saboteur, was actually preventing me from doing that. So whenever I got to the stage where I might be fit enough, my inner saboteur got in the way and said, hang on, I'm going to protect you from this because you're never going to enjoy that. So there's that limiting belief. And that played out, for example, in last winter I took a lot of time off the bike because it was cold and it was damp some mornings, and I just rolled over in bed and decided it was easier to stay in bed. And often I told myself, you've had 4, 5, 6 days in a row, so you're fit enough, you can take a day off. And then a day off became 2 days off, 2 days off became 3 days off, and so on. And all of a sudden, fitness had dropped. So that was one sabotage strategy that was preventing me from getting my fitness up to another level. Of course, I could have, on those cold and wet days, hopped on my trainer. I do have an indoor trainer. Again, enjoyment comes into it there, because sitting on the indoor trainer and doing exercise on that I find terribly boring. Now, that was probably just a less intrusive sabotage strategy, because another sabotage strategy that I have done a couple of times in the past few years was have a catastrophic accident, one that resulted in broken bones and a stay in hospital. Then, of course, the inability to ride for several months. So what's that all about? My unconscious mind, my inner saboteur, is protecting me from not enjoying some big challenge, but it's causing me some major discomfort, pain, and potentially some serious damage. Now, as I was reflecting on this, another thought came into my mind, and it was totally unrelated. Or was it? So the totally unrelated thought was, I was thinking about my good friend Kim Doyal, who's currently rebranding her business from the WordPress chick to kimdoyal.com. The tagline that she's using in that is just show up. So this is where it came back together again. Just show up. What if I stopped focusing on this huge challenge that I was conflicted about whether I should be doing or not, and instead of that, just showed up every day for my exercise, for my bike ride, and even for my trainer indoor rides, and gave 100%. What would that look like? And who knows? I might even get to the point of having the confidence, the strength, and the fitness of tackling that big challenge ride, completing it, and even enjoying it. All of a sudden, new possibilities were there, simply by thinking about this in a slightly different way. Of course, the next obvious question then, which is where I went to, is where else in my life am I playing that same strategy? Where else am I looking at a big, challenging goal and allowing my inner saboteur to prevent me from achieving it? Where else am I not showing up every day and playing less than 100%? Now, that's a pretty confronting question. And I'm not going to share with you today what I came up with there, because a lot of those thoughts are still incomplete and they are very personal, and I'm actually not really, to be honest, I'm actually not really sure I'm prepared to share that in public. But I certainly will be sharing it with people close to me, people that can talk to me and challenge me in terms of thinking differently about those big goals, and perhaps have a revelation like I did for the bike. So I'd like to invite you to think about your own situation right now. What big goals do you have where there may be an internal conflict, where your inner saboteur pulls the emergency brake every now and then, even if it really hurts? What if you changed your focus from achieving that huge goal to just showing up every day and giving 100%? What would that be like for you? And 100% today is not the same as 100% yesterday, nor is it the same as 100% tomorrow. There's no absolute measure. It's about moving forward. It's about taking action and doing the best you can with what you have at the time. That's 100%. I'd love you to share your thoughts in the comments section under the blog post. It will really help me. I think it'll help other listeners too. And it most likely will also help you. I'll leave you with one final thought for today's short podcast, and that's, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Stay connected. Head on over to iTunes or Stitcher or Pocket Casts and subscribe to the InnovaBuzz podcast so you make sure you'll never miss another episode. We'd also love you to leave us a review because what you think matters. Take some of the ideas you've heard today and apply them in your business. Any thoughts, ideas, suggestions or questions, share them in the comments below the blog post. And remember, if you want to get better marketing results than you ever have, join our fantastic LinkedIn community at the Transformational Marketing Academy. All you have to do is go to innovabiz.co/TMAC. It's free to join. Hope to see you there soon. Until next time, I'm Jürgen Strauss from InnovaBuzz. Remember to be awesome and keep innovating.